Quibi is a streaming service where people could watch small clips of shows on their phone. The idea behind it was the younger generation were watching content on their phones more than any other device, and were watching shorter clips on platforms such as TikTok. So why not make highly produced shows in short clips just for phones? It sounds like an interesting idea, and had numerous big names behind the idea, but within 6 months, Quibi is shutting down. In this video, we're going to take a deeper dive into Quibi, and what were the major issues the company was facing, and why the idea just didn't seem to catch on. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. Quibi was started in 2018 by Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was the chairman of Walt Disney from 1984 to 1994, which is when Disney came out with a lot of its classic animated movies, such as Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. After leaving Disney, Katzenberg went on to co-found DreamWorks, which went on to make animated movies such as Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon, and so on. So Katzenberg was a pioneer in the animation business, and well connected in the entertainment industry. He teamed up with Meg Whitman, who was the CEO of eBay, which she helped grow from a $4 million company to over an $8 billion company. So she knows how to expand and run a business. This seems like a great start with these two big names with a lot of connections, finding an idea that if executed properly, might actually have some merit. So both Katzenberg and Whitman had a lot of connections in the tech and entertainment business. This made it super easy to raise over $1 billion and had the backing of companies such as NBC Universal, 20th Century Fox, Walt Disney, and many other big names. With all this money, they had created the app and started to produce shows with 10-minute episodes, which were called Quick Bites. Also, all the shows were made to be watched on a phone, so they were all shot in a 16:9 aspect ratio like you would see in a TikTok video. Quibi spent over $1 billion alone on creating original content in its first year. They had over 175 shows with big names like Will Smith, Liam Hemsworth, Sophie Turner, and many other A-list stars featured on their shows. The company was also spending like crazy on advertising, and by mid-2019 they sold out of its advertising inventory, which was $150 million. They spent a lot of this money on Super Bowl ads and ads for the Oscars. Quibi's pricing model would also have two tiers. One was $4.99 and had ads, and the other was $7.99 with no ads. So with everything ready to go, Quibi officially launched April 6th, 2020. So you had original content with big names on board, and were advertising like crazy. How did people respond? TechCrunch reported that Quibi saw 300 downloads, and hit number 3 in the App Store on its launch day. On April 14th, the company announced that it had seen 1.7 million downloads in its release week. Quibi eventually had over 900,000 users sign up. I would say that's actually pretty good. People were interested in seeing what this was all about, and were willing to give it a shot, especially because they had a 14-day free trial. However, things started to turn south quickly. After the launch, the app fell out of the 50 most downloaded apps the same week that it launched. And 92% of people who signed up for the free trial left after the 14 days were done. So out of those 900,000, only around 70,000 were willing to pay for the service. This is a terrible retention rate for any business, especially one that spent all this money on content and advertising. Quibi initially projected it would have more than 7 million subscribers after its first year, but it only had about 500,000 subscribers as a few weeks ago. So what went wrong? According to Quibi, the app failed because of the COVID pandemic, as people were staying home rather than watching shows on their phone, such as while they're commuting to work on a train. They are at home watching shows on their TVs. This may be true, but I don't think it's the only reason why it failed. If the shows and product were good, it wouldn't be an issue where people were watching. People still use their phones to watch Netflix and YouTube while they were home. I think the main reason the company failed is that the idea just wasn't executed properly. Younger people don't want to see overly produced shows anymore. And if they do, they tend to watch on other streaming platforms that all the episodes are on at once, and they could binge watch the whole series. Since Quibi shows were released a new episode daily, people would just forget about the show, especially if the show was only 10 minutes long. People like to binge things, even short clips. Kids spend hours watching TikTok clips because they are bingeable, and you can easily digest the clip and move on to the next one with ease. People even binge on YouTube because there's always another video ready to watch, and the content isn't highly produced. If a show is highly produced, it takes time to get into it and understand the character dynamics, and this is very difficult to pull off in a 10-minute burst. Also, highly produced shows just aren't made to be watched vertically. It works on TikToks because it's people making their own clips, but on an actual serious show, it's just weird to watch vertically. These were the main issues with the idea, and also the company was spending way too much out of the gate before validating their idea. They were paying A-list celebrities $100,000 a minute to appear on these shows, and they were advertising like crazy, yet people didn't understand what Quibi actually was. Many people thought it was just another streaming service like Netflix. I also think a lot of decisions were just made in a boardroom with people that didn't really understand what younger kids were into and looking to watch. I think they should have brought in more internet famous people instead of just A-list celebrities. I think it would have been cool if you brought in TikTok people and YouTube people and gave them the ability to create their own shows. I think that would have resonated with the younger audience much better than having a big A-list celebrity star in a highly produced drama. Quibi also ran into some legal issues with Echo, who is suing Quibi for stealing its patented technology to allow viewers of cell phone video to toggle between landscape and portrait mode and have the video look exactly the same. Quibi contends that it independently created the technology, dubbed Turnstile, which is one of its unique selling points. Echo states that they stole this technology when Katzenberg met with Echo CEO back in 2017. And later hired people that worked for Echo. They also stated that there was an implied contract when the two met. This definitely puts a dent in your start if you are already dealing with legal issues, not even 6 months into launch. The lawsuit also was shying away potential buyers of Quibi and its original content, as buyers don't want to get involved with the lawsuit that might have some truth to it. The company and the people running it were also a little arrogant, because they had so many big names backing it, and they were already successful in previous endeavors. They didn't think they could possibly fail, and it seems that they were telling their customers what they wanted to watch, rather than actually asking them what they wanted to watch. The company culture was also known to take on this arrogance, and didn't really have a scrappy startup vibe, especially because all these big names were involved. As users began to drop off, Katzenbergs and Whitman decided to shut down the company and return whatever money they had left to their investors, instead of trying to raise more money and continue losing it. The streaming space is one of the most competitive industries right now, and you need to be bringing something great to the table, or people just aren't going to pay for your service. Disney Plus is a great example of this. They had a great backlog of content that people already loved, and are making great original content. That is why they already have 600 million paid subscribers. I think Quibi's biggest downfall was just not knowing what their target audience wanted. Younger people don't care about production as much these days, as they are perfectly fine with watching a TikTok and YouTube video that aren't highly produced but are still entertaining. Also, advertising during the Super Bowl and Oscars doesn't really make sense, because their younger targeted audience doesn't care about the Super Bowl or Oscars. Also, after the Super Bowl ad, 70% of people thought Quibi was a food delivery service, so something didn't go right on the marketing end. I also think the company had too many big names associated with it, and had the image of an idea created in a boardroom, rather than an idea created out of passion and innovation. I think if you are trying to start your own business, it is important to learn from Quibi's mistakes of not knowing what your target audience is really looking for, and throwing money at an issue might not be the best solution. And with that being said, as always, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe to see more videos.